So this is a Nintendo Switch OLED, and the only reason I purchased this was to be able to play Pokemon Legends Arceus. Some GameStop employee really convinced me to get this, so that's why I got it. But nevertheless, inside the box you get the actual Nintendo Switch, you get two JoyCons, which I got in the white colorway. You also get the dock for the TV, which is also in white. You get the HDMI adapter and the AC adapter for the dock when you go to use it for your TV. And you also get some accessories for the controller. So you get two wrist straps for each Joy-Con, and you also get the controller mod, which basically turns your two Joy-Cons into a single controller. But otherwise, it's pretty much everything you get in the box. So now I want to give you guys my first impressions after using it for about a couple weeks now, and give you my thoughts on whether or not I think this has been a great purchase so far. So it's a Switch OLED, so obviously it's got an OLED display. It's a 7-inch 720p display, so even though it's low resolution, it still looks really good because it's a small display. If it was a big display, 720p would be pretty bad. And I know OLED is not a new technology, but even then, I still appreciate a good OLED display, and this is a good OLED display. Colors look fantastic on here. They look sharp, they look crisp, and they look rich. Blacks are deep black. And by default, it does come in vivid mode, so it does make things already very sharp and even more rich in color. And there is a natural mode as well, which basically just makes the colors look a little bit more muted and not as bright in your face. So if you're not a big fan of rich pop colors, then I would definitely just recommend a natural mode. But either way, both modes, colors just look fantastic on here. The screen does get pretty bright enough if you have to play it like in direct sunlight, but it depends on what your game is showing. So if your game is like in night mode or it's in a dark scenario, then it's going to be hard to see because you're going to see a lot of reflection. But if it's a light environment that you're in your game and you can see a lot of light colors, then you should be able to see for the most part, but it's not the best experience, but it's still doable if you have to. At the top, you have the power button, which is really small for my liking and not clicky enough. You have the volume rocker, which I also wish a little bit bigger and a little bit clickier. Speakers, though, are loud enough for like solo sessions, but if you're in a loud environment, you're definitely going to struggle to hear it a little bit, so they're nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but they're good enough. But you have the option to use the headphone jack if you wanted to, and you can also add Bluetooth headsets. So if you want to connect your Bluetooth earbuds, you're more than able to. But I know you're not able to use the mics on the Bluetooth headsets, just as an FYI. Next to the headphone jack, you also have your game card slot. At the bottom, you have USB-C and the connectors are connected to the dock. So if you're on the go, you can charge this via USB-C, which is really nice. And you also have a kickstand, which is actually pretty firm. It's really nice to be able to set it at different angles. And underneath that kickstand is also a micro SD card slot. So if you want to expand your storage, you're more than able to by just adding a micro SD card there. Then you have the Joy-Cons themselves, which in my opinion are okay. They are the white colorway, which do tend to show scuffs, and they show if they get dirty pretty easily. The buttons on them are somewhat clicky, but I am starting to feel like they are starting to get stuck when you go to click them. I'm also not a huge fan of the joysticks that they have. They don't feel the nicest. They feel sort of flimsy, and it feels like when I'm being aggressive that I'm about to peel chunks of the rubber when I'm playing around with the joystick. And I also heard it's notorious for getting stick drift. I will say that taking the Joy-Cons off and on is very satisfying. So I definitely get the appeal for this, the whole Switch reason, to be able to take them off and take them on either for when you're docking or if you want to use the actual Switch display to play somewhere else and prop it up somewhere and just use the controllers individually or just all at once. I get it, I like it, I definitely like that aspect of it, even though the Joy-Cons themselves don't feel as nice. But when you're switching them on, even when they're on, they don't feel as tight. They feel a little loose, they feel a little flimsy. Feels like if I give it enough give or strength and I'm aggressive, I could easily like rip it off by accident. And in hand, it also doesn't feel the most comfortable. I'm sure after a long period of use, you're gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit fatigued because it's not the most ergonomically comfortable handheld I've ever used. But like I said, you can take the Joy-Cons off, so I much prefer using the Joy-Cons off and setting it up on my TV and then using either the wrist straps or using the controller mod to play on the TV. So this leads into performance and everyday usage. About 60% of the time, I'm playing on the TV. So this is usually docked. But then 40% of the time, I'll use it handheld. And when you're docked, the dock itself also has the ability to connect a Ethernet cable to it. So if you want those wired speeds, you're more than able to. Personally, I don't use Nintendo Online or plan to anytime soon, so I won't be connecting an internet port into the dock anytime soon. And the TV I'm connected to is an old TV. It's like a 10-year-old TV. It's actually the TV behind me. It's a ProScan TV. I don't even know the brand anymore. It's basically a 1080p basic TV. It's nothing special, nothing crazy, no HDR in here. It's just a 1080p display, 60 Hz. That's it. And for me, that is perfectly fine for playing on Nintendo Switch because I don't need anything crazy because this Switch is only capable of 1080p and 60 FPS for some games on a TV. So this is perfectly fine for me. What I have is good enough. When it comes to the games I've been playing, Pokemon Legend Arceus probably isn't pushing the Nintendo Switch graphically at all. So to me, that game is running smoothly, it's running great, it's performing just fine. I haven't run into any delays. Loading screens, they're pretty average, they're not anything spectacular. So far the game has been running great, and the game itself, I've been enjoying. It's been a great game. If you like Pokemon, you're definitely going to enjoy this whole new experience when it comes to Pokemon. I absolutely love it. It feels like how it'd be like in a real world situation with Pokemon if we actually lived the Pokemon. I don't know. I used to be such a Pokemon nerd and fanboy that reliving this time period with this game is just really awesome. But otherwise, other games such as Rocket League and Fortnite, I definitely lowered or noticed a lower resolution when it comes to the game graphically. And then Fortnite just runs not so good. It runs at 30 FPS max, but even then, there's still a lot of frame drops. It's lagging a lot. It's just not great performance, in my opinion. If you're a very casual gamer, you'll get by it. It's doable. You can definitely enjoy it. But if you're a serious gamer, I definitely would not recommend you go out and buy a Switch just to play Fortnite or any other competitive game. Now, of course, if it's a first-party game like Mario, I'm sure that's completely different. But if it's a third-party game that you want to be competitive in, I definitely would not recommend it. I would definitely recommend, if it's available on like a PC or a console game, definitely get a console for that kind of stuff. But otherwise, Rocket League itself also runs pretty great. It's definitely performing pretty well. And again, I did notice a resolution has been lowered in textures and stuff like that, but otherwise, it still runs great. So it's actually pretty cool that I can play Rocket League on my Switch, like portably. I don't have to rely on the mobile game that they have, but either way, it's still pretty cool that you can play these games, but I definitely would say it's meant for casual gamers. Or I would even say that maybe get Nintendo Switch for first-party games, which is why I got it for Pokemon and potentially Mario soon in the future. But otherwise, performance has been great. It's what you expect it to be. It's not a great, high-quality performing console, but it's definitely meant for those casual gamers, such as myself. And that's probably why the UI experience is super simple. There's not a lot of customization here. Only thing you can really do is change it between a light mode and a dark mode. Otherwise, that's basically it. There's not a lot of things you can do on here. Maybe some people, they would prefer to make folders and stuff like that. For me, I don't have many games yet, so it's pretty simple. My first 3 games are right there, and then the YouTube app also. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. When you go hit the power button, the Nintendo Switch is made to go just in the sleep mode. So if you want to power it off, you have to hold down power options and then power off. So for me, battery life then means that it's been pretty good. I don't play portably for long periods, so typically I'll unhook it and play for like half an hour, or if I'm on the go, like I'll take it to my job and play on my break, so I'll play for half an hour. So I'll usually lose like 10 to 50% of battery in my whole day when I'm unhooked or undocked. So I can't speak much for battery life right now, but so far it's been okay because of my situation, how I use it. So for me, I haven't had to worry about whether or not I have battery or not. But for a light casual gamer like myself and a tech enthusiast that I am, I've enjoyed using the Switch OLED. It's a nice display, nice console overall, fun for casual games, which is what I'm looking for right now. So I definitely plan on buying more games for it, and if you guys want to see a full review, let me know. I'll see if I can buy more games and do more testing with it. But otherwise, let me know what you guys are playing on. What games are you playing right now? Are you a gamer yourself? So let me know. Thank you for watching this random video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.